So now the Packers have been 8 games without Jaire Alexander so far this season. We are still currently sitting at 9-3. So we have been without him for 2/3 of this entire season. And just to see how good this, secondary has been is honestly a little bit shocking to me. Clearly, there are some weaknesses. There are a few points in the games where, they gave up some big plays. Last week versus the Rams, a big play to Odell, a big play to, I think it was Van Jefferson. A week before, we definitely, allowed Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen to do a lot of damage to us. But just the fact of how this secondary has sort of stayed together and been able to come in and make, big plays in some important situations, specifically Rasul Douglas, especially this past week with that pick 6 and also having 4 pass breakups in this game. Real quick, if you guys have not turned on your notifications to be notified when I put out news videos, feel free to do that. Right now, 16.1% of you guys are have your notifications on. Let's see if we can hit 20%. That's a good amount of people to turn them on, but I believe in you. And if we just take a look back to last season, just to think that the Packers, being without Jaire Alexander, of course, we hadn't drafted Eric Stokes, we hadn't signed Rasul Douglas, and luckily the Packers did draft Eric Stokes in the first round because, obviously you can't, see in the future that you're going to lose your, top cornerback, one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. But to be able to have a guy like Eric Stokes, who I think has been really good in his rookie year, lots of times I feel like corners in their first, season don't play very well, and there definitely have been some weak moments for Eric Stokes, but overall, just to see how good he has played as a rookie has just been so, so beneficial for this Packers defense. And of course, it signed Rasul Douglas early October. He's just been playing out of his mind. And so the Packers have been also without Kevin King. He's missed, I believe, 6 games now with injuries. And he's definitely a player who I think has potential, plays well at times, maybe not as well at other times. He's been pretty good, I'd say, so far this season. But he is a guy who does struggle with lots of different kinds of injuries. So the fact that, being without probably our top 2 cornerbacks from last season, Jaire and Kevin King, for a lot of games this season, the fact that the Packers secondary has been able to be one of the top 10 units in the NFL. If you take a look at PFF, their grading system. So if we take a look at their coverage grades, basically how they grade the entire defense overall for the entire season, the Packers are in the top 10. Right now, they are ranked 9th with the 9th best coverage unit in the NFL. So without our top cornerback, without one of our starting guys last year, the Packers have been able to play at top third in the NFL when it comes to coverage. And I'd say this the other day. We really do have to give props to Gutekunst in this front office for finding Rasul Douglas, which honestly, don't know how a guy like that stays around for that long on a practice squad. And then to be able to, come in and draft Eric Stokes, where, I think coming into that draft, there were, at least it seemed like cornerback could be a position of need just because outside of Jaire, we were definitely struggling. Having Kevin King, Chandon Sullivan. And Chandon Sullivan, plays okay at times. He's definitely, I'd say, one of the weaker corners on this team so far this season. But really, I think the biggest difference is the play of Rasul Douglas, just how good he has been. And in last week's game versus the Rams a few days ago, it was his highest grade by PFF in his entire career. In his 5-year career, it was his highest grade. And I found this one video on Twitter which basically put together lots of, Rasul Douglas's best plays from last game. And it's honestly crazy to see him flying around and just the caliber that he honestly plays at. So I may do a video later reacting to, some of those plays. Unfortunately, YouTube likes to demonetize me whenever I, show NFL content because, it is copyrighted. But maybe I'll do it anyways later today just to show you guys how good he was in that game. It's honestly shocking how good he was in that game. The question still is, when is Jaire Alexander going to return? Is he going to return? Because I think we can be hopeful that he is. But we haven't heard about his injury in a while now. I'm hoping he's healing and he's progressing. There haven't been injury updates. I know lots of you guys have asked me in the comments for an injury update on, Jaire Alexander, also Zadarius Smith, which I have seen none. There hasn't really been much reporting on that, and if there is some reporting on it, I'll definitely let you guys know. But when Jaire does return, hopefully, this Packers defense is going to take I can't imagine that the step forward this Packers defense will take, because the fact that they were playing as, the 5th best scoring defense in the NFL, allowing only 20.2 points per game without Jaire Alexander, I mean, goodness gracious, this Packers defense could be so much better. And then, of course, Zadarius Smith. So hopefully those guys will heal up and, be back soon. But that's going to be it for this video. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe if you yet to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.